तू क्या लगा रही है? ये सनस्क्रीन है यानी कि SPF, बहुत ही ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है। अच्छा, पर आज तो धूप भी नहीं निकली, बाहर भी बादल ही है ऐसे बाहर। फिर ये सनस्क्रीन क्यों? अरे तुझे नहीं पता क्या? फ्रॉम सेलिब्रिटी डर्मेटोलॉजिस्ट जो इन्फ्लुएंसर, हर कोई आजकल ये कहता है कि अप्लाई करने को भी कहते हैं एवरी 2 आवर्स। नहीं तो ना स्किन खराब हो जाती है, स्किन एजिंग जल्दी हो जाती है। मैं तो बहुत खरीद नहीं ले सकती, इसलिए मैं कुछ खरीदूँ ना तो से जरूर खरीदूँ। यूवी लाइट और ब्लू लाइट से स्किन बहुत हार्म होती है। हाँ अच्छा, ये तू भी नहीं मुझे नहीं चाहिए, तू रख अपने पास। ओके, इतना इम्पोर्टेंट होता है क्या सनस्क्रीन? फिर तो तुझे ना पूरे दिन ही लगा के रखना चाहिए। तू रिस्क मत ले, तो सनस्क्रीन लगा। हाँ, अरे तू तो पूरे दिन ही फोन चलाती रहती है, पूरे 24 घंटे। फिर तो उसकी ब्लू लाइट से तेरी स्किन को बहुत हार्म हो जाएगा। तू रिस्क मत ले, तू सनस्क्रीन लगा, ठीक है? ओह नो! सच में यार तुम लोग। Irrespective of the skin type that you have, sunscreen has become a very important part in all of our lives. But still, until today's day even, there are many people among us who don't actually know the necessity and the science behind a sunscreen, how it functions and how its usage can actually make our lives better. So in today's video, we are going to discuss about the science behind how a sunscreen works and is it actually necessary to use it on a daily life basis? So let us together decode it in this video. Let's get started. So before we know the science behind how a sunscreen works, let us first know the types of sunscreen available in the entire market. Whether it is even the Indian market or it's like an international market. So basically there are two types of sunscreen available in the market. The first one being a physical or a mineral based sunscreen, whereas the second one being a chemical based sunscreen. Now let us know how it functions for providing enough protection to our skin. So a physical or a mineral based sunscreen works in such a way that it creates a thin film or a barrier as it sits on top layer of your skin and protects the skin from the UVA and UVB rays from the sun. It doesn't even allow the rays from the sun to enter your skin to cause any kind of damage. That's how it works. But whereas in case of a chemical based sunscreen, it uses ingredients like that of oxybenzone, parabenzone, etc., which gets absorbed into the skin. And in this procedure, these kind of ingredients that gets absorbed till the subcutaneous level into the skin absorbs the sun's rays and converts it into heat energy, and in this process it releases the heat energy from inside the skin cells towards the outside environment and thus protects the skin from the harmful rays of the sun. As we have discussed that the physical body, in case of physical sunscreens, it creates a barrier, but in case of chemical sunscreen it doesn't create a barrier but instead it gets absorbed into the skin. Let us now know what type of ingredients are used in case of a physical or a mineral based sunscreen. So the ingredients used in case of a physical or a mineral based sunscreens are inorganic in nature and are ingredients like that of zinc oxide and titanium oxide. Whereas in case of chemical based sunscreens, we have already told that the ingredients used are somewhat oxybenzone, parabenzone, etc. It might differ with the amount of research performed on the different ingredients of the newly launched sunscreens in the Indian market at present. So the second question that comes to our mind is that why is it even necessary to use a sunscreen, or is it even necessary to use a sunscreen in today's world, and if so, then why? So you must have known that as per the data, according to researchers, there has been a significant decrease in the ozone layer in the past few decades. So it can be said that due to the decrease in the level of ozone in our atmosphere, it has allowed the entry of UVA and UVB rays into our atmosphere, which has led to a huge amount of increase in global warming as well as pollution at the same time. So all these conditions together have created such a scenario that it has become very much important for all of us to be aware of this situation, that we need to use a sunscreen on a daily basis to get our skin, to let our skin enough protection from all these harmful ingredients. But again, you must have seen different kinds of videos where people have been discussing that it has become very much necessary for all of us to reapply sunscreen again and again, and also to use sunscreen sticks, which are now very famous in today's time. And is it actually necessary? So see, what's necessary is that there is a significant time when the sun is actually very harsh, and it is the time where it's recommended to use a sunscreen whenever we are out in the exposure to the sun. So the best time to use a sunscreen is from like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. where the sun is too much harsh, and it's very much necessary for all of us to protect our skin from the harmful rays. Other than that, you must have also heard that sunbathing is a practice that is very famous among Ayurvedic practitioners and also among doctors, which is often suggested by doctors even, to have enough absorption of vitamin D from the sunlight in our system. So what's the best time to sunbathe or to absorb the vitamin D from the sun? So the best time recommended for sunbathing is the early morning hours when the sun is not really very harsh. Whereas the time in between 11 p.m. to 2 p.m. is the time when the sun gets too harsh, and it's often recommended that you either cover yourself with heavy clothes to get as much as less exposure to the sun, or to use a sunscreen for best provided protection. Now comes the question, why didn't our ancestors need any sunscreen? And why do we actually need a sunscreen? And is it very much necessary for us to use a sunscreen, because all of those things are chemically loaded? Yes, I know, and that's a very legit question. And for that answer, I have to say you that in earlier times, we must understand that the ozone layer was not as depleted as in today's time, and people at that time didn't need as much as sun protection formula or SPF as we need in today's time, because they could have either used natural solutions like that of coconut oil, wheat germ oil, which easily have a very good content of SPF or sun protection formula, either up to 7 or 8, which is good to have a good protection from the sun while they were out in the sun. But in today's time, as the exposure of the UVB rays have increased with the increase in global warming and all those other conditions, so we must understand that it has also become necessary for all of us to have increased SPF formula in our sunscreen. Like you must have seen in today's sunscreen, they have a term called SPF, which means sun protection formula, and it's best to use an SPF of 30, from 30 and above, anything above SPF 30 with PA triple plus. At least for the minimum content, you should have a PA triple plus in your sunscreen formula, and it's best to use this while you are out in the sun. Okay, so that was it for why is it important to use a sunscreen. Now comes the question, who should use a physical or mineral sunscreen, and who should use a chemical based sunscreen? Is it necessary that we should use a chemical based sunscreen, or are there any alternatives to it? So let me answer that question. Before that, we must understand that, as I have mentioned earlier already, that a physical sunscreen is one that creates a thin film on top of your skin, and in this way it protects your skin from the sun rays. It doesn't allow the sun rays at all to enter your skin. So a physical based sunscreen can be little thicker for people who have like oily skin. People won't sometimes like that formula. So is the situation that the chemical based sunscreen got their entry into the market, because they get absorbed into the skin, and getting absorbed is one common question, that is it safe for them to get absorbed into our skin. Now see, one thing is that all of you might have questioned that is it safe or is it not safe. See, anything getting absorbed into your skin will eventually go into the bloodstream, like less or more will get into the bloodstream in any way, isn't it? So it's best actually to avoid chemical based sunscreen as much as you can. But still, if you want to use them, you can use them as per your own thoughts and necessities. But I'll give some recommendations at the end of this video. Until then, wait and let us discuss about the other factors also. Now comes the question, who can use a physical based sunscreen and who can use a chemical based sunscreen? Or is it such that anybody can use any type of sunscreen? So let us answer that. Yes, physical sunscreen are best suited for anybody and anybody can use it, but as per each and everyone's conveniences. Not many people might like a physical sunscreen as it forms a layer, as I have already mentioned, but it's best suited for people who are prone to hyperpigmentation, melasma, etc. Whereas a chemical based sunscreen are best suited for people who have oily or acne prone skin, as they wouldn't like any kind of extra layer on their skin. Some people also tend to ask, is it necessary for us to reapply sunscreen while we are out in the sun? See, you can use it as per your own terms again, but it's not necessary for all of us to reapply sunscreen again and again. It lets us to use more and more products again, which is not really sustainable, I believe. And again, using any kind of products again and again will create much weight over your skin, which is not really recommended. Now the question arises is that people also tend to say that we need to apply sunscreen or SPF while even if we are indoors and we are not going out, and even on a cloudy day. So for that reason, you can use natural sources of SPF, because inside your homes or indoors, the sun exposure will not be to that extent as compared to when you are outside directly exposed to the sun. So you can easily go for alternatives, natural alternatives such as that of wheat germ oil, coconut oil, almond oil, which have a good content of SPF inbuilt in itself. So you don't need to separately use those market bought things, because as much as you use them, you are like anyway going to let chemicals getting entered into your which anybody of us actually don't want. So the recommendations for the best sunscreens that actually function really well, and according to some great YouTubers too, they have also recommended this as per their organic and natural content. I'm going to mention them here, so let us see. First option here is the Nivea, the 100% natural sunscreen with SPF 21 PA+. And this is a mineral based sunscreen again, and this is from an Ayurvedic brand, and you can see the key ingredients here. All of them I have shared it with the help of this screenshot, so that it is easy for you to see all of them and to also get a good review about them, as I have shared the reviews here too. The second option is the Just Herbs moisturizing sunscreen gel with SPF 35 PA4+, which is again a good example. You can go for it without any second concern, and you can see the reviews here. All of them are very good, as I have seen on the website. All of these sunscreens don't have any kind of harmful ingredients that will anyway cause any harm to your skin. So you can be free to use them all without any second thought of buying them. I'll also try to mention all of them in the description box below, so that it's very convenient for you to go and click to the link and easily buy them. Okay, my name is Sankita Roy, and I thank you for watching. See you in the next video. So hit the like button and share it with your friends and family to whom you think would need this video. And also subscribe to my channel for more such updates.